left alone wherever I sit. Why this place so dry? No love to find. You're the only one that ever acts kind. They all after me. What's happening? I wish that you could see what I see. Your boyfriend's a douche that thinks he's cool and doesn't deserve a girl like you.
What up? It's your boy Nagato Uzumaki with Ifer, and what's up, Uzumaki gang? Today I'm gonna be doing what if Deku got cheated on and was the reincarnation of all the Akatsuki. So he's gonna have all their powers, he's gonna have the power of white and black Zetsu, Hidan, Kisame, Obito, Pain, Konan, Itachi, Sasori, Deidara, Kakuzu, all of them. And so let's get this started. And this all happens after the the attack on the Chisaki base. So I'm just gonna be going all on my own here. So we cut to a green-haired boy walking through the city with a box that looks very, very expensive, really expensive. And where is he walking to? The dorms of UA. Once he gets there, he sees Kirishima and he's like, "Hey Kirishima, what's up?" And Kirishima kind of turns to him with this dead look and he's like, "Izuku, I have something to tell you." And Izuku's like, "What is it?" And Kirishima's like, "Nothing, Mito, bro. It's all good." And then, Izuku's like, "Okay." And he keeps walking, thinking that was kind of weird, but maybe he just forgot or something. And then Denki and Sero come up to Kirishima and is like, "Dude, why didn't you tell him?" And Kirishima was like, "He wouldn't believe me. He would need to see it for himself. Let's go make sure he's okay." As we cut to Izuku walking up the stairs to Uraraka's dorm, he hears moaning and she's like, "Go faster, Bakugo. Go faster, go faster." "Oh, yes. Oh, Bakugo." And then Bakugo's like, "Yeah, take that, round face. I know that nerd couldn't pleasure you like I do." And she's like, "Well, we've never actually done that." And Bakugo's like, "Well, now you don't need to because you've got me, right?" And she's like, yeah, Bakugo." Izuku doesn't want to believe it, so he opens the door and he sees them both lying shirtless and naked under the covers. And then once they turn over, Uraraka's like, Deku-kun, it's not what it looks like. It's And Bakugo's like, "No, it is what it looks like, nerd. I took your girlfriend. How do you feel about that?" And Izuku at this point just looks down. He wants to cry, but now he just wants to kill Bakugo. As he looks back up, his Obito's EMS is blaring right at Katsuki, while his other eye is overshadowed. He looks at Katsuki, then at Ochako, then looks at them both, and then makes a mad dash for Katsuki. Katsuki jumps up and puts on his shorts and tries to swing at Bakugo with an explosion right hook. And then what Izuku does is phase through it. Bakugo looks at him in horror, and then Izuku looks at him in anger. And then once he gets close to him, this weird mouth thing on his hand opens up and out comes this weird white spider, and it hops on Bakugo's face and it blows up, sending Bakugo flying out the window. And now Izuku's just standing there, menacingly, before he hops on top of the UA building and leaps off. cut to the rest of Class 1A perspective, as they were all just chilling, except Sero, Denki, and Kirishima, who looked incredibly like they had betrayed someone. Like Zuko. Like somebody so innocent and pure. The rest of them asks, "Hey guys, what's up? Why do you guys look so down?" And Kirishima's like, "We knew that Uraraka was cheating on Mito, bro, and we said nothing. And when we went up, there was a hole in the wall, and Mito, bro, wasn't there. But neither was Bakugo." And so they all rush outside. Well, except for Kirishima, Saru, and Denki, who are no longer friends with Bakugo. And then they see Bakugo lying on the ground with third-degree burns all over his face. They take him to the teachers and explain what they understand, which is Uraraka cheated on him with Bakugo. All Might was even more angry than when the USJ got attacked, like when he popped up, no smile. He was more angry than that. And as always says, I suggest we suspend them for at least a month. And Nezu's like, I think it should be 2. Yes, 2. They will not step foot on school grounds, and anything to do with school activities will not be prohibited to them and them alone. And then, so, Uraraka is now feeling bad because she doesn't know where Deku is. And so she asks if she finds Deku, can she come back before the 2 months? And they say yes. And so she knows they used to go to this one hangout spot, like near kind of a cliff, kind of like where Itachi jumped when he was a kid. Kind of like that. And so she goes there. Like, no, this is actually like 3 weeks after. Everybody just doesn't talk to her because the only reason Nezu's letting her stay because they think that since she was his girlfriend, she'd be able to find him faster than anybody else. Even though Ida would still probably be able to find him faster along with the help of Kaminari or something. Sorry about that. But so, she goes to this cliff, and she sees Izuku sitting in the outfit that he has on in the picture. Like, kind of like this outfit, except with a more color scheme of red and black. You know? So, she goes to walk up to Izuku, and then he turns around, and then this kind of like weird circular disc sucks up Izuku. And then he appears right behind her and says, "What do you want, you slutty bitch?" And she's like, "Izuku-kun, I thought you loved me." And Izuku's like, "I thought you loved me, but apparently you only give a fuck about that small dick terrorist quirk having asshole." And she's like, "Katsuki's anything but that." And he's like, "Then why did he bully me in middle school? Why did he give me all these scars?" And he lifts up like the half of his mask to show a scar that he got from Bakugo, which is like Obito's scar that he got from being half crushed. And he's like, "Why did he tell me to take a swan dive off the roof?" And so she's just standing there silent until he looks at her, and then he just goes into the ground like Zetsu. And then Izuku appears back in the dorm, coming out of the ground, and they're all looking at him, and they're like, "Izuku, dude, where were you?" And Izuku's like, don't worry about it, guys. But I'm probably gonna be quitting UA. And Kirishima's like, Mito, bro, please don't quit UA. You're like one of the only fun ones here. And then the rest of class 1A looks at him and he's like, hey. And Kirishima looks at them and he's like, please, Izuku, dude, you're so fun to train with. And Izuku's like, nah, I don't really feel like it. And I'm gonna say, even though All Might was being cool earlier, he's gonna be a dumbass. So he sees Izuku pop through the ground and he thinks he got a new quirk from All for One. So he goes in to take One for All back because he could take it back if he just touched Izuku and wanted to take it back at the same time. And he also thinks that if he gets One for All back, the new quirks will kind of combine. The new quirk has combined with One for All, so Izuku will lose his quirk. So he goes in, he takes One for All back, and he's like, Izuku, I can't believe you tried to get a quirk from All for One. And after what he's done, and Izuku's like, you really are a stupid old man. Look at this. And then what he does is he goes back through the ground, pops up right behind All Might, and then walks straight through him. And then looks back at him like, what now? What do you want more? And so All Might's like, what power is that from All for One? And Izuku's like, no. It's just from some people I could have been if I wasn't so kind-hearted. And he's like, what do you mean by that? Are there more people that could pass down quirks? And he's like, no, it's not even a quirk. It's just a power. You people are so power hungry. And so he looks at him, and his eyes change purple with rings in them. And then he looks at him, and he says, he sticks his arm out, and he says, Shinya Tensei. And then as soon as he says that, All Might gets pushed flying through the wall and all the way through the other side of the UA building and into the other wall. And so Izuku's like, I think I'll become a vigilante instead. There's less laws, all that. Yeah. And so he basically takes he goes up to his room and they follow him. He does these weird hand motions to them, but to him it's hand signs because while he was gone for the 3 weeks, he was taught by the Akatsuki because he was a quick learner. And so he does something and then he does this motion with his hands to his mouth and he's like, fire style, fireball jutsu, and then burns the entire room to a crisp. So now it's just nothing but charred and black. And so he hops out the window and they look out to see him running up the side of the UA building and then disappearing. Just disappearing. And so now basically every hero is looking for him, the news is looking for him, because he basically just injured the number one hero, destroyed UA property, and then left. And so they're looking for him, and they're not fucking finding him, because they talked about the bases they used to have, and so they finally decided that he would just make one. And also I'm probably going to decide if I should have him split, he could be able to split their souls. He could put their souls into somebody else. So eventually he'd just become one reincarnation and then there'd be other people with the other reincarnations. Kind of like what if my Deku and Bakugo were the reincarnations of Sasori and Dedera? But probably not. So, he hears a big boom coming from the entrance, and he looks over. He sees Endeavor, All Might, Best Genius, Hawks, Miracle, Comrie Woods, Mount Lady, and hold up, let me think of some more. Midnight, Gran Torino, 13, Edge Shot, and that's about, oh, and all of Class 1A and 1B. Okay, so yeah. So, the first thing that happens is Endeavor tries to shoot fire at him, and then what he does is he basically just like the pain path that has the absorption ability, that he does that. Like, so he basically has every one of Pain's powers. So all the 6 paths of Pain, every one of Obito's, Kisame, white and black Zetsu, Hidan, Konan, Itachi, Sasori, Deidara, Kakuzu, all of their powers, including all the 6 paths of Pain powers. So he absorbs it, and he turns into paper, comes right behind Mount Lady, and before she could go big to like crush him, he chops her in the neck. And then what he does is he brings out his Samehada and the third Kazekage puppet. He's holding Samehada in one hand and the third Kazekage puppet in the other. And also right now he's basically All Might, like he's the tall All Might in buff form. Like he's that tall, but he's not that buff. Like he's buffness of season 3. Right? So it doesn't look like he should be able to do that with one hand. So he swings Samehada at Best Genius, Edge Shot, and Comrie Woods, and then they're all out of the fight. And then what he does is he gets the third Kazekage puppet to use Magnet Sand Release on All Might, and then crush like his arms and his legs, and then send him flying out of the cave. And then he basically goes easier in Class 1A and Class 1B. Class 1A, he just goes like he just does a whole bunch of clay clones on Class 1A while he's sitting like he's using his chakra to stick to the ceiling, and then they all get hit. Class 1B, they don't have any real reason to hold back on him because they weren't his friend. And so they try to hit him. Then so he uses Kakuzu's like power where he hardens his skin. And then after like right as he's doing that, he Comrie's right behind them, puts them in the Comrie dimension, goes there, and then wraps their body in paper, comes back, and like I don't really have any real way of explaining it except the fact that he just puts clay on the paper and then explodes it. And then so he just sends them flying out of the cave with Shinya Tensei and creates a stronger, like fucking 5 times stronger barrier. And so yeah, that's where I'm gonna end it off right now.